Hey gang, welcome back to another video. With Halloween right around the corner and it potentially being the last year of our display before we move, I thought it would be a good idea to advertise that our cemetery was for sale, while also adding a bit more story to our haunt. And since there's a bunch more involved projects in the weeks ahead, I thought I'd knock out this quick tongue-in-cheek prop for our haunt's final manifestation. So let's get into it. First things first, I'll need to prep my sign surface. For this project, I'll be using some 1/8 inch MDF, and we'll give it a heavy coat of satin clear to help seal up the faces and the edges. This is an absolute must if you're planning on painting MDF of any thickness, since its composition makes it very absorptive, and the clear coat prevents any additional layers of paint from looking patchy or uneven. If you didn't have clear coat, you could swap out for some PVA glue like Mod Podge to get the same result. Because I laid down a really heavy coat of clear, I reached for my shop hairdryer to help speed up the drying process so that I could move on to painting the base color. Once the surface was sufficiently dry, I reached for this slightly off-white spray paint and coated the entire face of the board. I hadn't decided what size the sign was going to be at this point, and I figured I'd save myself the trouble and time by painting the entire thing. I overlapped my paint in both directions to make sure that I had solid coverage, and then I left it to dry while I went to figure out my sign layout. After a quick online image search of vintage signs, I hopped into Illustrator, found some fonts that felt like they were the right era for the sign I wanted to create, and I pulled together a quick layout that looked similar to some other vintage signs I'd seen. All I needed to do was send it to my vinyl cutter so that I could make it into a stencil. A few minutes later, my stencil was done and I could start weeding out the areas that will get painted. This process is always so satisfying, and even more so when it's sped up like this. To transfer this design to my backer board, I'll need to apply some transfer tape to my stencil, making sure to push out any air bubbles, and then I can peel it away from the backing paper. With my backing board completely dry, I lined up my stencil and pressed it into position, again working out any air bubbles trapped between the stencil and the MDF. It's okay to have air bubbles in the outer edge of your stencil, since that won't affect the lettering. But if there's any around the lettering at all, it will allow the paint to bleed under it, and that's not the look I'm after. After working out the last of the air bubbles, I grabbed an edge of the transfer tape and peeled it away to expose the stencil. I reached for my clear coat once again and applied a light pass to the stencil. This is a bit of insurance that the paint won't be able to sneak under the edges of the stencil because any small gaps have likely been filled by the clear coat. I could have done this with the white paint too, which would have been easier to see, but the clear was closer. When the clear coat was dry, I grabbed a small amount of red acrylic paint and an acid brush and got to painting in the larger letters of my sign. I chose an acid brush because the bristles are really thick and will leave really noticeable streaks in the paint, which should hopefully create the impression that this was painted by hand. Now it was just up to me to follow the natural direction of the letters to really sell the effect. Once the red letters were done, I switched to a black acrylic paint and a new acid brush and got to painting the bar and lower letters. These were a bit tougher to do because of how thin the letters are, but I did my best to follow the text, and after my first coat was down, I applied a second, heavier coat, which ended up being a bit of a misstep, but more on that in a minute. I let the paint dry, and then I could pull up my stencil, which exposed my misstep. The acrylic paint was too thick, which caused it to stretch and tear away from the MDF as I pulled up the stencil. It wasn't as bad with the larger letters, but it could have been avoided if I'd just gone with a little less paint. In the end, I think I can make this work, but before I do that, I'm going to cut it down to its final size of 9 by 12 inches. To help sell the antique look, I'm going to scratch up my lettering with a Scotch-Brite pad. This will make the letters look like they're a bit sun-bleached and that some of the paint has failed, and just overall give it a look of something much older. You could do as much or as little of this as you wanted to achieve the look that you're after. But for me, I think I just want a hint of age in the paint since I plan to do a bit of environmental aging with a color wash. Before I get to adding washes, I'll lock in the paint again with clear coat and let it dry before moving on. For my environmental aging, I mixed up a few drops of burnt umber acrylic airbrush paint and water in my tiny spray bottle, and with the sign tilted up slightly, I got to misting the surface of the sign. After every few passes with the wash, I'd speed up the drying process with the hairdryer just so that I wasn't waiting around, but also because it created interesting patterns in the finish that I think helped to tell a bit of a story, which always makes for a better finished product. If you're able to impart some details into your prop, it will ground it in reality and make it feel more authentic. For example, this sign has been posted at the cemetery for a while and has seen its fair share of hot summers and damp falls, so the lettering and the aging reflect the damage that comes with those extremes. And speaking of damage, I decided to add a bit of paint chipping around the edge of the sign. Not too much, just enough to break up the edge a bit, and when it felt like I had the right amount, I grabbed a rust-colored acrylic paint and a fine-tipped brush and added in a bit of rust to accentuate the failure in the paint. When I felt the paint starting to dry out, I'd mist it with some of the brown wash to reactivate it and thin it out in more organic ways than I could do with a brush. Now, unfortunately, the battery died on the camera before I was finished, but I got to a place I was happy with, and so I can call this one done. Now, while you may not need a sale sign for your cemetery, this technique is great for a variety of projects, especially those that need a vintage or handmade touch. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, go make something.